Hello everyone, welcome to the Emotional Companion channel. Each year, as the end approaches, I find myself reflecting on the past year, assessing my accomplishments, areas for improvement, and sources of pride. In 2025, there were two key aspects that I consistently observed, practiced, and refined, leading to a remarkably fulfilling year. I aim to encapsulate these insights in this video, both for personal review and for public dissemination, hoping that viewers might glean valuable lessons for their own self-reflection and to initiate a different approach to 2026. The first point concerns the pervasive distractions of modern life, the myriad temptations vying for our limited time. The focus should be on where we direct our attention. The second point involves the question of how we manage our energy as opposed to merely managing time. To begin, let's consider the real world. I believe 2026 should be a year dedicated to pursuing our genuine desires and interests. While this may seem commonplace, consider a classic self-help question. If money were no object, what would you do? Pause the video here to contemplate your answer. Each person's response will likely vary, and the answer may not be immediately apparent. I've observed some common aspirations online: traveling the world, building a home in the wilderness, pursuing art or music, or even venturing into content creation on platforms like YouTube or TikTok. Others dream of opening a small cafe or becoming a chef. Some choose to engage in charitable work or dedicate their lives to medical research. Many might respond with the practical concerns of daily life, family, finances, and job security. The fear of job loss due to company restructuring or AI implementation is a valid concern. There are also personal issues that remain unresolved, such as procrastination, unhealthy eating habits, and a lack of exercise. The question is not about achieving a future free of financial constraints, but rather about identifying the underlying desires that persist despite these practical concerns. If your answer is to become a chef, why not dedicate 15 to 20 minutes daily to honing your culinary skills? The path to becoming a chef might be closer than you think. I've also observed a paradox in life. Despite the multitude of problems we face, we often squander finite resources like time, energy, and health. I recently read some insightful words by Oliver Berkman, author of The Antidote: Happiness for People Who Can't Stand Positive Thinking. He uses the term doom scrolling to describe the habit of spending hours on social media, consuming fleeting, often superficial content that leaves us feeling lethargic. I believe that many of you, my viewers, have explored ways to reduce this social media addiction. Perhaps you use apps to block social media, keep your phone in another room, or turn your phone face down. However, according to Berkman, these methods are not effective in the long run. I've experienced this myself. There are days when I have no desire to use social media, yet a friend might recommend a video, and 2 hours later, I find myself still scrolling. A short video might last 20 seconds. In a minute, you can watch 3. In 2 hours, that's 360 different pieces of content. These can range from heartwarming animal rescue videos to stand-up comedy, followed by engaging gaming content, and then potentially violent or disturbing content, creating an emotional roller coaster. This constant shifting of focus is exhausting, leading to a sense of inertia, which can negatively impact work performance. Berkman's perspective is different. Instead of trying to suppress the social media addiction, why not spend more time offline, engaging in activities like spending time with family, friends, or reading a book? This, he believes, is a more effective approach. This concept is similar to flow, a state of complete immersion where we lose track of time and space. This is also how many parents encourage their children to engage in activities outside of gaming or social media, such as sports or music lessons. Why not apply this to ourselves? This view is supported by various authors and researchers. Catherine Martin suggests that blocking schedules, digital detoxes, and app usage may be less effective than immersing oneself in real-world activities like art, music, social interaction, or nature. Of course, this doesn't mean we should abandon our responsibilities to pursue art. We still have financial concerns, family obligations, and other commitments. However, how do we feel at the end of each day, week, or month if we spend our limited free time on our phones? I, for one, would say no. If you feel you don't have time to pursue your interests, consider that our to-do list can be endless. We can add anything we want, but time is finite. We will never complete our to-do lists. According to Berkman, we will likely still have an incomplete to-do list on our deathbed. So, how do we optimize our approach? Adding the things we genuinely want to do to our list, as suggested by the initial question, can make us less dependent on the list itself because we are fully immersed in what we love. Ultimately, our time and attention are resources we strive to optimize daily. While we may use apps, tools, and techniques like the Pomodoro method, social media excels at utilizing our downtime. They understand our preferences and use AI and predictive models to determine the content we are most likely to engage with, optimizing our time spent on their platforms rather than optimizing our happiness or the meaning of our lives. Consider the pre-smartphone era. What did we do while waiting in line or using the restroom? We might read the ingredients on a shampoo bottle or read a book. Now, we spend hours on our phones. I now try to avoid my phone when waiting for an elevator or standing in line, even for 30 or 60 seconds. Instead, I might think about an upcoming meeting, how to improve my work or my appearance. Sometimes I do nothing, believing that doing nothing is more beneficial than filling the time with short videos. I recently read a survey of 1,000 adults in the US, which found that 75% of them struggle with focus. Larry Mark, author of Attention Span, notes a significant decline in the ability to focus on tasks requiring screens. Furthermore, the number of children diagnosed with ADHD is increasing. The problem isn't just about focus, it's about defining our focus by minutes, views, ad revenue, and engagement. Historian Graham Burnett suggests that modern human focus may pose a risk to democracy. True focus, he argues, is when we lose ourselves in a book, spend time with family on holidays, or enjoy coffee with friends. When social media profits from our time and attention, which we shouldn't and don't want to give, we lose our freedom. Moving on to the second question. Time is finite, but what about energy? We know time and focus are limited. In 2025, I focused on optimizing and observing a third aspect, energy, which I found fascinating. My ability to concentrate and be creative is significantly enhanced in certain coffee shops compared to other workplaces. Even with time blocking, I found that I couldn't focus on a task at 9 a.m. After observing this, I began to experiment with my diet and sleep. I realized that my energy levels at certain times didn't allow me to do certain things. Physically, I was present, but mentally, I was elsewhere. I found that while time is finite, energy can be intentionally recharged. By managing my energy better, I could accomplish more, achieve better results, use less effort and time, and better control my emotions, both during and after work. Each Sunday, I began to record what worked best for me. Where, when, and why. This involved the 5 W's. What, with whom, where, when, and why. I discovered some interesting patterns. Certain coffee shops, for example, facilitated creative work, while others were better for connecting information. I now go to coffee shop Y when I need to work on complex Excel files. I also found that my brain is more receptive at 8 a.m. than at 5 or 6 p.m. I now schedule creative tasks for the morning. In the afternoon, I cook at home, which, despite taking only 15 to 20 minutes, quickly recharges my energy. There were days when I could work until midnight without feeling tired. However, if I ate out due to work or social engagements, I couldn't work effectively. Cooking is also a form of meditation for me. As I focus on the process, I experiment with new ingredients and flavors. Even if the food isn't perfect, it gives me a sense of self-care. When I order takeout, I worry about food safety. On the other hand, eating fried or fatty foods makes me feel tired, while eating more vegetables makes me feel lighter, more clear-headed, and happier. I'm eating less meat and fried food and more vegetables. My friends joke that I'll become a vegetarian soon. I've also noticed that certain types of reports, charts, or analysis energize me. I alternate between tasks I enjoy and those that drain my energy. Sleep is also crucial. Sleeping more than 7 hours makes me feel refreshed. Conversely, sleeping less than 6 hours makes me feel sluggish. This could be a sign of aging, and my body may require more attention than it did in college. Over time, I've found that I'm completing more work in less time, with improved information processing and quality, which is a result of better energy management. My colleagues have noticed that I seem happier and more fulfilled, and my work results are still excellent. While there may be many reasons for this, I believe energy management plays a significant role. After a year or two of actively observing, learning, and refining my work habits, I've read research on energy management, including the physical aspects. Energy comes from 4 elements: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Many high-level executives undergo training to find the environments where they perform best. These training programs often put executives in a state of flow. Ultimately, the who, where, when, why, what, with whom, or the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual aspects are merely tactical elements. What truly fulfills me is living in alignment with my desires, doing what I enjoy, and working to the best of my ability. If I asked you what short videos you watched yesterday, you probably wouldn't remember. Will you remember optimizing your time to gain an extra hour of work each week? Or will you remember giving your child something they truly wanted? Taking your parents to a place they always wanted to go, helping them renovate their home, or visiting a place you've dreamed of? Or perhaps opening the cafe you've always wanted? That's what will bring lasting joy. I'll conclude this video here. I wanted it to be personal and raw, without excessive editing or structure. I hope you enjoyed it. I wish you a happy and fulfilling holiday with your family, whether you are with them or celebrating from afar. I hope you have a successful and fortunate year. Goodbye, and Happy New Year.